Representative Lauren Boebert is fuming over House Speaker Mike Johnson literally just doing his job and passing things. On Tuesday, CNN's Manu Raju spoke to lawmakers about Marjorie Taylor Greene's effort to remove Speaker Johnson after he passed some foreign aid packages and short-term funding deals with the help of Democrats, who then said, because of him reaching across the aisle, that they would back Johnson in any attempt to remove him as Speaker, effectively killing Marjorie Greene's motion to vacate. Raju asked Lauren Boebert about her take.
We are passing the Democrat agenda each and every day that we're here. We have a slim majority in the House, and everything's being passed overwhelmingly with Democrat support. So it makes no difference to me if it's Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker or Mike Johnson right now.
Yes. So it makes no difference. We're passing the Democrat agenda overwhelmingly. Do you understand what a divided House is? How that actually works? Democrats have the Senate and the White House. And you said you have a very slim majority in the House. It's your fault. Did you really expect to get everything that you want? No, at some point, you do have to compromise. Now, here's the thing, right? So, look, most Republican voters do not want to send aid to Ukraine, mainly because they either believe in weird conspiracy theories, are sympathetic to Vladimir Putin, or they don't really care about foreign policy. Okay, and here's the thing about those people, right? In the don't care. A lot of them are against foreign aid because they're like, well, we should stop funding them and giving them so much money and spend the money here. Now, I don't buy that argument because when you ask them, okay, well, what do you want to do to spend money here? Do you want to, fund education? You want to fund healthcare? You want to fund childcare? They say, no, that's socialism. Okay. Well, then that argument is pretty unconvincing. You just don't want to help other countries. And by the way, foreign aid is actually a very small part of the budget. I know that sounds like big numbers, right? Sending aid packages to Ukraine, billions of dollars. But when it comes down to it, it's still a relatively small portion of the budget. Most of the money that we spend in the United States is the defense is for defense contractors and the military. These aid packages, basically what we're doing is we're sending not money, but we're sending weapons and supplies from our own warehouses to Ukraine, and then using the money that's allocated from these spending packages to buy more weapons from weapons manufacturers to refill our own stores. Not only that, but we're also allowing Ukraine to come and buy our weapons. Do you understand how that means the defense contractors are winning? So, if anything, it's kind of weird to see Republicans that are against that when Republicans are all for sending more money to the defense budget, doing more military spending. What did you expect? Now, the argument that they're anti-war also is absolutely hilarious. The right wing loves funding wars. They've proposed invading Mexico, bombing Mexico to fight the drug cartels. There are other Republicans that have, of course, called on Biden to literally attack Iran. They love wars. They can't get enough of them. All right? As long as they're against brown people. So I think that's the difference here. Now, that said, Johnson has worked with Democrats to pass these aid packages. And look, some of the stuff like sending aid to Israel, I'm definitely not in favor of, right? And I'm not in favor of sending more money to the military-industrial complex. But that's what, unfortunately, most of our politicians are there for. They do unabashedly support more and more military spending. That's why the defense budget, the Pentagon budget, gets bigger and bigger, regardless of who's in charge, whether it be a Democrat or Republican. They both fund the military-industrial complex, right? So that's not a surprise that Johnson, now that he's Speaker, is in favor of doing more of that and sending more of these aid packages. But secondly, as I've talked about before, he's an evangelical. And there are reports from occupied Ukraine showing that evangelical Christians have been brutally oppressed by Russian forces who follow the Russian Orthodox Church. So it's all Christianity, right? But the Russian Orthodox Church teaches Russian nationalism. And so Russian nationalism doesn't really mesh well with the evangelicals in Ukraine who are not Russian nationalists. So there's a lot of oppression there. So of course he's going to be worried about that because, oh no, evangelical Christians are being attacked. And of course, I'm not in favor of that. I'm not in favor of any religious minority being attacked. So that said, all right, Democrats, look, Democrats by and large also support helping Ukraine. So it makes sense that he's going to reach out and get those votes to move these packages along. This is a package that Democrats have been pushing. So to get Johnson's help, they don't really mind. That said, Israel, aid for Israel, that's also something that is very bipartisan. Both Democrats and Republicans in Congress tend to back that. The only people that are pushing back are progressives because they don't want to be complicit in funding what is essentially ethnic cleansing going on in Gaza. It's a horrible situation. That said, the establishment appears to have a friend in MAGA Mike Johnson, just like they had a friend in Kevin McCarthy. So, look, how you become speaker, and it's a very important position, right? How you become speaker is you have to get a majority of votes. It makes sense, right? I mean, yes, it only takes one person to trigger a vote to do a motion to vacate, but you also have to have the support of the majority of the House of Representatives. Now, Republicans have a very slim majority, as she pointed out. Democrats, pretty close. So any speaker who doesn't have, or I should say, any speaker that the Democrats don't want, they can tank. So Johnson knows that. And look, McCarthy got kicked out because Democrats refused to save him. They voted against him. And so it didn't take that many Republicans to remove McCarthy. In this case, Johnson knows, oh, if I don't want to get removed from my position, I better play nice. I better work with the Democrats to get at least something, right? Because again, he does believe in doing Ukraine spending, obviously in aiding Israel as well, and Taiwan. There's the scary Chinese Communist Party. And so, yeah, he's going to work with the Democrats, and he's not going to cave to the ultra fringies like Marjorie Greene and her small group of clowns like Lauren Boebert, which leads Boebert to, and Greene to call them the Uni Party. But let me be clear, the policy positions on, everything that's not, military spending and all that, and the foreign aid couldn't be more different between Mike Johnson and Hakeem Jeffries, who was the, Democratic minority leader in the House. So just going to be clear about that. They're not the same. That said, with the divided Congress the way that it is, Johnson's really got no choice. And so, yes, he's doing what is politically expedient for him, but not just for him, but also for his party. So that said, if they had their way, Marjorie Greene and Lauren Boebert and Thomas Massey, I believe, is the other one that signed on to Marjorie Greene's motion to vacate. Which, by the way, Boebert did not sign on to that. just to be very clear, she did not sign on for the motion to vacate, and is still lobbying these criticisms because she knows, even she knows, that removing Speaker Johnson would be chaos.